Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige and I am Turn the Page Books. We're missing my TBR cart, so let's bring it on over. Okay, it is that time. It's a new month, so let's go over all the books that I read in April. I have 10 reads for you. 5 are physical copies and the other ones I have read on my Kindle or on audio. I'm gonna separate how I talk about them into genres. So the first genre I'm gonna cover is horror, Bunny by Mona Awad. This is a fever dream in a book. The whole time you're kind of confused about what's happening, but it's done on purpose. I did discuss it a little bit in my last video, but it takes place at a prestigious MFA program where the main character Samantha meets up with the cult-like group of girls that call themselves Bunny in her cohort. It's more of a pastel horror with a lot of disturbing imagery. It takes you down a spiral and it blurs the lines of reality and what's happening in this main character's head. This was 4 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of those books that people either really loved or hated. I do recommend to check it out, especially if you like that weird girl lit type of genre. The second book I'm going to cover is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's a classic. I had never read it before and I finally read it. It was so good. I think it might be one of my favorite classics of all time. The story is told through the scientist, Dr. Frankenstein, and the point of view of his monster. Like, this is a great winter book. It was 5 stars. Loved it. I also read 2 more horror novels. Fantastic Land by Mike Bakoven. I also talked about this one in my last video, I think. Basically, it's Lord of the Flies meets Yellow Jackets meets The Society, but they're trapped in an amusement park after a hurricane came through. There's a lot of violence and it's told through a series of interviews, and it was a great thriller, multiple paths being told through these interviews, and I ate it up. Since it was told through interviews, it was great to listen to it because it kind of read like a podcast. Last horror book I read was When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I have read 2 other Nat Cassidy books. I've read Nestlings and Mary I absolutely loved. Nestlings I like too, but not as much as Mary. When the Wolf Comes Home might be my favorite read from this year so far. The concept is unlike anything I've read before. It kind of gave me a little bit of Brightburn vibe. The main character, Jess, is working at a restaurant. She wants to be an actress, but she's not getting any jobs. She meets this little boy who is trying to escape from his father. It's an adventure for sure. If you read the book Krampus by Brahm, I think you will really like When the Wolf Comes Home. Now I'm going to discuss the 2 nonfiction books that I've read. One is a memoir called Paris, the Memoir by Paris Hilton. I did the audiobook for this one because Paris Hilton narrated her story. Going into this, I thought it was going to be more like Y2K pop culture moments, when it was really starting with her growing up and then what she faced as a teenager. If you didn't know, she was sent to one of those camps for troubled teens. It's just really, really terrible. I had no idea that she went through that, and it was really heartbreaking to read, to be honest. The second nonfiction I'm going to talk about is Alive by Pierce Paul Reed. It's included on Kindle Unlimited. Well, I did talk about this one in my last video as well. It recounts the events of the rugby team that crashed into the Andes Mountain. Like I discussed in my last video, it was a very harrowing read. There's not a whole lot of bias between what they did. It was just written like, this is what they did to survive, and this is the facts of what happened. A really good movie called Society of Snow. It's on Netflix. It is in Spanish, but it's dubbed in English, so I did watch that. It was actually filmed at the crash site where it really happened in the Andes. If you read this book, I highly recommend watching Society of Snow on Netflix as well. The next genre I'm going to talk about is monster romance. This is a new genre that I haven't read in the past, and I have a friend, Sydney, who's really obsessed with monster romance, specifically Ice Planet Barbarians, so I decided to give the first book a try. It was a really, really fun, wild read. It was a really fast read. It's only like 200 something pages. The main character, Georgie, is abducted by aliens. She finds herself on an aircraft with a group of women. They're all in the same situation. They do wind up crashing onto another planet, and that's where she meets Vectel, the gigantic blue barbarian alien. There's a lot of spice. It's more spice, less plot, if that makes sense. After reading all of those books that were very, very heavy, this was a light read that I didn't have to think about, and I could just kind of enjoy myself reading. I have 2 more books for you, and they are fantasy reads. So the first fantasy that I'm going to talk about is Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed. Really pretty edition. It has beautiful sprayed edges. The cover is beautiful, but it is described as The Last of Us meets Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I immediately was like, yes, I cannot wait to read this. And bonus, it's sapphic. So yeah, of course I wanted to read it. But there's something about it that fell flat for me. I wanted to love it more than I did. I rated it 3 stars. And a 3-star for me is like, it was okay. I wasn't super excited to finish it, but I do think other people might like it better than me. When I was reading it, I was trying to piece together the world a little bit more than what I was given. The last one I read is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. It is a thick book, but I have seen this one all over TikTok, Instagram, so I really wanted to read it because I love vampires. Fantasy is a hit or miss for me. If it's too epic and plot driven, I'm not as interested. I prefer a little bit more of character driven stories. It did have high stakes and trials, which I do like. It's a whole series, so it's probably gonna take me a while to read it. I do prefer a standalone. When I read a series, I usually take a break and read other books in between. Like even Ice Planet Barbarians has like 14 books. And I don't sit and read them all through because I will get burnout from that one series. I do like to mix it up for sure. So those are all the books that I read in April. Overall, it was a really good month. As always, if you have read any of these, please drop it in the comments and we can discuss. I post videos every Thursday, so I will see you in the next one. Have a great week. Bye.